Welcome back to another edition of the Pagcast. I'm your host, Michael Pagani, joined alongside Chaska-High School defenseman Sam Rinzel. Sam, welcome to the Pagcast. Thank you again for coming on.
Yep, thanks for having me.
How has being back in the arena with fans this season brought a sense of normalcy back into your life?
It's a blast, especially at high school in Minnesota. You get all the fans back, you get your little rivalries that you play with, and it adds a whole nother aspect to the game. It brings a lot of the fun back, a lot of the excitement, and it brings energy in the rink for sure a lot higher.
No one liked playing in arenas that were crowdless. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's not a very fun thing, but as a hockey player, you kind of do it, and you still have fun with the game because you love playing it, and the crowd just for sure add a really cool aspect to the game.
When sports were postponed during March of 2020, what did you do with your time? Because that would have been, an extended off season for you.
Yeah, I think I was just focusing on getting in the weight room. I got stronger, putting on weight on my kind of frame that I got going on, and I think that helped me a lot with my hockey career for sure.
You spoke about the physical aspect of the pandemic and how you kind of got better with being in the weight room there, but how did the pandemic affect you mentally?
You know, I'm kind of a homebody a little bit, so I like being at home. Didn't bother me too much. Still able to get out a little bit with some friends, kind of hang around, maybe golf a little bit if it's open. You can go indoor golfing and you kind of hang around, you have fun, watch a lot of movies. But I think you're able to find stuff to kind of keep you busy and kind of get you off the couch a little bit.
Because I know for me, the pandemic affected me mentally because my mom's a nurse. So at the start of the pandemic, I had to be separated from her for an extended period of time. Thankfully, I guess thankfully, yeah, my parents are divorced, so there was that option there. But I don't know what I would have done had my parents been together this whole time. But yeah, that's how it affected me mentally. So I just wanted to ask you about that mental aspect.
Yeah, it can be a struggle sometimes, kind of not able to live a complete normal life, but you kind of go through it and you find things that kind of keep you busy and keep you kind of mentally into it, and you just kind of have fun with it.
Let's speak about your most recent game against Eastview. You guys won 4-1. How can the team carry that good momentum into the second half of the season?
Yeah, I think that was a big win. They've beaten some good competition with Prior Lake and Minnetonka, and it's good win moving on for us until getting ready for playing Benilde. I think it's a really big game for us to prove ourselves and to prove everyone that we're right up there with the top.
How would you evaluate your individual performance against Eastview?
I think it was good. Good to get the puck moving and to play alongside with my teammates, and they all know that it's a team game, and we like to play hard, have fun with it, and anytime we get to win, it's just always a joy to be around.
Who influenced you to get into hockey? Just talking about your story a bit here.
I think my dad kind of got me into it ever since I was little in school. Kind of every time there's a little lunch break, the kids got. My dad would take me to a little rink, and I think we'd go skate, and that's always fun. Kind of get me into hockey, and I think forever there, that's kind of where I really fell in love with the game, and it's just been going forever since.
Speaking about that little break in school there, I remember in being in, I guess, yeah, primary school there. My friends and I would play mini sticks because at our school here we would have a drawn out hockey court on the playground, and we would always play mini sticks there. It'd get competitive a lot of the time. So being from Minnesota like you are from the state of hockey.
Yeah, for sure. I think you bring up mini sticks, and it's a big thing when you're a little kid, and even when you go to out of town tournaments and hotels, you bring your nets, and
Yeah.
I don't know, hotels don't always love it, but you find little areas to set up nets and play either in the hallway or a little big room that you can set up.
We always have to find the loophole in the hotels. They hate the mini sticks. So, I'll be
Yeah,
honest. I think of a time when I was in an out of town tournament and the hotel. I think one of the people, like the receptionist, found out that we were playing mini sticks from the security camera in the
yeah,
hallway, and they had to break us up. It was ridiculous.
yeah. As a kid, you're always bummed out with that. You always hate when they kind of ruin the fun a little bit, but as you grow up, kind of realize that
Yes,
that
it
it
can
gets
get annoying.
yeah, it gets a little outrageous, but you find ways as you're older to still have fun with it a little bit at a buddy's house or something.
Was there a player growing up who you wanted to model your game after?
Uh, Growing up, I watched a lot of Carlson, a lot of John Carlson, both Carlsons there. Right now, I love watching McCarr with Hughes and bigger guys like Klingberg and Hedman, how they kind of think the game. I think McCarr is just such a fun guy to watch.
Man, he is a generational talent.
Yeah, he's just his skating and how he moves around the ice with how he's able to push the pace and with his little stick skills at the blue line. You think you kind of watch it and you try to mimic it, and it's pretty fun.
I think McCarr is the McDavid of defense. Like he's just such a generational
100%.
defenseman that we haven't seen another talent like him.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch him in the little skills competition here with the speed skating. I think that'll be cool.
Growing up in Minnesota, like I mentioned before, did you kind of become a Wild fan? And if you did you go see any games?
Oh yeah, I went to Wild games all the time. You go to, as a Minnesota guy, I think playing hockey, it's that and you watch the Gophers. I think that's the two things you do. And just for sure will forever be a favorite team of mine. And, you always go watch them with your parents or with your friends. And you always go and you're able to see the atmosphere and it's really fun.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure if you've seen like any games with Kirill Kaprizov, but man, he is such a talent. Like he is super good.
Yeah, it's good to get kind of a guy on that team with that. He's really fun to watch for sure. And the Wild are kind of on a roll lately, so I'm hoping they can keep it going in the playoffs. They can get one.
They are challenging Colorado for first in the Central, I'm pretty sure, which was just kind of a surprise in my opinion.
Yeah, Colorado's a really good team, but I think Minnesota is just rolling on every cylinder they got, and if they keep it going, I think they can for sure win it all.
Starting with talk about your career here, let's talk about Chaska-High. In 2019 you had 9 points in 25 games, and judging from the stat line, would you say that season was full of adjustments?
Yeah, I think when you're a kid, you're in your adjustment period. It's kind of where you're hitting puberty a little bit, and you're a freshman in high school, and you kind of see the aspect of you're going against 18-year-olds, some maybe obviously bigger, stronger, and a little bit faster, and you kind of get used to the game, and it's a fun playing with bigger guys for sure.
You got to play in 3 playoff games. What were those games like for you?
They're really fun. They're fast paced. It's high energy for sure in the rinks. Everyone's jam packed in there and they're all pumped. All the fans are ready to go. And it's just you kind of soak up the moment. And it's such a fun thing to be in and to able to win some, even maybe you'll lose one. It's just, looking back at it, it's just one of the best experiences of my life.
One of the things that I noticed from watching NHL playoffs and just playoffs in general with hockey is that the ice tends to get a little smaller. Do you kind of agree with me there?
Yeah, totally. I think, everyone just bumps up their game to a new level a little bit. It's just what you have to do in the playoffs. It's more physical. It's higher pace. You got to move the puck quicker. And yeah, for sure. I think it feels like the ice gets a little smaller and you got to do everything a little quicker.
Now, what's your story of when you heard the NBA shut down due to the coronavirus? Like, had hockey had ended for you at that time?
Uh, I think we were still going with hockey, but everyone was a little skeptical and things are all shutting down and you kind of don't know what to expect. So you kind of just sitting there, you're kind of waiting and, it's not the best time to be always trying to wait for something, that may not be good happen, but it kind of just, it is what it is now. And you kind of just move on with it.
The next season, we saw a huge increase in your stats with 25 points in 19 games, which led all defensemen on your team. What did you work on in the summer so you could see that success?
Yeah, I think just working on getting stronger again, that builds, you get faster, you work on your edge work and, you watch a lot of film and you see what works and you see what doesn't at the high levels and you try to mimic it in this and you start gaining confidence and, you just keep that confidence going. You play the game you love and, you work around your teammates and you credit to a lot of my teammates, when I've done it with a lot of them and you go have fun, you play hockey.
With the long extended break that you had from 2019-20 to the next season that we're talking about here, 2020-2021, would you agree that some of the increase in your development came from that extended break?
Oh, for sure. I think that is a huge part and where my development came from. And I think, maybe a lot of kids missed out in development, but I think for me it was actually a huge part of my hockey career where I was able to just focus on the off ice part and get stronger. And I think that brought my game to a whole nother level.
Now, I'm a bit unsure of this, but was the 2020-21 season kind of condensed for you?
Yeah, I think that season, they cut games a little short, which sucks. And you had to, you're getting to the rink 15 minutes before the game starts. You got all your gear on that you got to walk in the rink with, and you basically you go in there, you put up your skates, and you're going and playing hockey. And it's kind of a weird feeling going to that, but at the end of the day, it sucks cutting games, but you take what you get and you have fun with it.
How did you make sure to capitalize on, the most amount of games that you could for your development? Because cutting games is never good for anyone's development.
Yeah, you take everything that you're on the ice, and you take it and you just soak up every moment, and you work your hardest every single minute of that game and every second. You don't take anything for granted, and you take every moment and live with it.
The next season, you played for three different teams. So you're going to have to explain to me about how you went from Team SIT Financial to Chaska-High, then to Waterloo, because I'm a
Mhm.
bit unfamiliar with the American hockey system. So did
Mhm.
you have to try out for all of those three different teams?
Uh, no. So the Minnesota High School Elite League, it's basically a league where you can go before the high school season starts, and they take all the best kind of kids that are going to be playing high school, and they form teams, and you're kind of in a league that you play for, and then they get these little all-star teams together, and you go out and you play like a little NIT tournament where Shattuck's in it, and like Penguins Elite is in it, I know. And you kind of they form teams, and you play a little league, and then you can do that, or some kids will go before for juniors in the USHL, and then they'll go back to high school and they'll play back after. It's a lot of leagues to think of. It's a lot of kind of in your mind you're thinking of, but I'm glad I was able to get all three in because I think it's a really cool experience to learn.
I think it is a great experience. And talking about, I guess, each separate team here, because I have a question for each separate team. Firstly, with Team SIT Financial, how hard was it to develop chemistry with your D partners since that was your first time being a part of the team?
Yeah, I think people look at it maybe thinking it's hard, but I think in Minnesota and high school, you pretty much know a lot of kids around the league in there, and you're pretty much buddies with a lot of them. So I think you grow as a team, and you kind of know them as a person a little bit already. So I think it goes pretty smoothly.
This would have been your third season with Chaska-High. Did you find that you took on a leadership role? And if so, what type of leader are you? Like, are you a lead by example, a quiet leader?
Yeah, I think this is my first year being a captain for the team. I think it's a big role to be, and for me, I think it's whether it's just getting the boys ready to go before the game, talking to them in a little huddle, and you get them ramped up, and you get them ready for the game, and you just get ready to go out there and work with the team and go out there and get a win.
Just try and get them fired up as best as possible, right?
Yep.
You played three games with the Waterloo Black Hawks. Is there anything from your game that you had to adjust to in a different league?
Yeah, I think the league is just obviously you're playing with bigger, faster guys, and you just got to make things a little quicker. But I think I was going in there, and I was just gonna be confident with try things, and whether a move didn't work or it did, I think you soak up the experience, you have fun with it, and you play with confidence. And I think that's how I like to play. Is I like to play with a lot of confidence and have fun with what I'm doing.
This season with Chaska-High, you guys are 14-5-0. How would you evaluate the team's play up to this point?
Yeah, I think we're at the beginning. I think it was a little bit of a bumpy road for us. We were kind of figuring out all of our systems, and you kind of start, you maybe lose the teams, you probably shouldn't lose to. You have a little tough stretch, but I think we're really getting it going now, and I think we're starting to really put it together, and you're going to see some big things out of us.
What are some of the team's goals to end the season?
Yeah, I think us, every single person in the locker room of our team has the same goal, and that's to win state. I think everyone's buying into that, and I think when everyone gets to that point, I don't think not much can stop our team.
And do you have any personal goals that go along with the team goals there?
Just kind of just work your hardest and just be a leader on that team and kind of form relationships with every single one of those kids. And relationships with those kids could go on for your entire life. So to do that is just kind of you go and you have fun and you go and you try to win that title.
Looking forward to your next game, you guys are going up against St. Louis Park. In the last meeting, you guys beat them 5-0. How are you guys going to game plan against them this time around?
Yeah, I think we're kind of got our same thing going. We're gonna play our game. We're gonna play a hard nosed game, and we're not gonna rely totally on our skill. I think we're gonna play the right way, and we're gonna get wins.
And building on that point there, is there something different that I don't know if you guys have studied game film yet on St. Louis Park, but is there something different that you guys are kind of practicing, whether it's in power play or penalty kill, leading up to this match?
I think we haven't done a ton of film on them yet, but I think we know that with our team, if we play how we know how to play, we can beat anyone.
You recently played in the BioSteel game. How was that experience?
That's always a great experience to be in. I think, you're playing with guys the best around in America, and it's always a fun experience to go there and experience all that and kind of see how your game is and to able to win there. I think it was really fun.
You are a draft prospect for this summer's July draft. What are you doing to prepare yourself for that?
Just keeping mentally and focused and, putting blinders on, not letting a lot of outside things kind of get in your way and getting your perspective, just living day by day and game by game. And you kind of just roll with the flow there.
Have you contacted anyone that has gone through the draft process to ask for tips on how someone would deal with the stress and pressure that comes with it?
I haven't really contacted anyone, but I have a few buddies that have been through it, like Mike Kester, he's been at Chaska, he was drafted. There's Rhett Pitlick. But I think my parents helped me a lot with that. They kind of keep me focused for sure and kind of keep me mentally in it.
Because you never want to make sure that the stress takes over your game where you're gripping the stick a little bit too tight.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. I think, as a hockey player, you got to make sure you're having fun with whatever you're doing. And, that's going to kind of loosen everything up and kind of keep your shoulders down a little bit, not so uptight. And I think that's how you're going to play your best.
If you were to get a shot in the shootout, what is your go-to move?
Oh, I think I'm going to kind of come to the left side and kind of come to the middle of that. And I'll probably do a little fake shot and see if the goalie goes down and maybe go to my backhand and maybe roof it up top or go to my fake backhand forehand. I think that's kind of what I'm thinking.
I think what might be a good suggestion is for you to just go in and clap it, just howitzer.
Yeah, that's what we did. Yeah, that'll catch the goalie off guard for sure, I think.
What is the toughest building that you've played in on the road this season?
Ooh, toughest building. I think whenever we play our rival Chanhassen, I think, like our whole school is there and the rink is jam packed in there and it's always a fun atmosphere. Everyone's yelling, screaming, and, it can get physical, it can get a little rough. And, I think it's a fun game to be in and to experience for sure.
It must be also important to make sure you guys take out the crowd as early as possible.
Yeah, for sure. I think, the crowd's going to do what they do and whatever they say, it's just kind of like an outside perspective and you're kind of focused on your team and your game. And you go out there and you play your hardest and you go out there and get a win.
As we're closing off this interview here, do you have any advice for younger hockey players?
I think if you have a dream, I think don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Because I think, there's gonna be a lot of people doubting you, and everywhere you go at any level, younger or you're older, being an adult, I think, be humble, be mature, and be a good person for sure is a good thing to have. I think that's one of the main things you got to be. Is you got to be a good person, and you live day by day, and you work hard, and you don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Well, I'd like to thank again Sam Rinzel for joining me on today's podcast. Thank you again, Sam.
Yep. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.